Podketeers.
I'm ready for Halloween in a way that I never thought I was going to be ready.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, we
Sir,
are recording
it
this.
is July.
I understand
it is Disneyland's birthday.
I understand that. We are recording this on
Summerween.
Disneyland's birthday, but Summerween hit me hard this year. And I don't stray away from talking about the fact that I am a wrestling fan, and there are aspects of wrestling that I've enjoyed since I was a youngin'.
Oh yeah.
And there are many things that I do not like about wrestling, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
Okay.
There is one aspect of wrestling that I really enjoyed in the last 5 to 7 years, and that was the character of Bray Wyatt. I've talked about him. I've talked about The Fiend. I've talked about his brother, Bo Dallas, who is Uncle Howdy. I don't know if I showed it on the podcast, but I made the Uncle Howdy mask, and I used it for like Halloween last year and stuff. I'll bring it on the podcast next week. I don't want to go get it, but I think I'm ready for Halloween because there's this rumor going around that Halloween Horror Nights is now working with the WWE to have a Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and like a Wyatt 6 maze as part of Horror Nights. And I'm telling you, I've never been more ready for Halloween ever. Not that I would probably go, but I'm just excited because I know a bunch of people are going to stream it, but man, it's just so exciting. I just want to see it. I want to see what they do with it, especially when it's in the confines of an actual like maze, and they can get away with a lot more stuff than they can get away with a PG audience on TV, so
Yeah.
I think it would be a nice homage to Wyndham. Rotunda was his real name, but to Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm
Wait,
excited.
his real name was Wyndham Rotunda?
Yeah.
That's a name.
Wyndham Rotunda. And his stage name was Bray Wyatt. He went by multiple names. Like he was Husky
Stage name
Harris
is-
at one point. He was, Bray Wyatt. His moniker was the Eater of Worlds at one point. And before he became the Fiend. So there's a whole lore about it, and maybe we'll do like an FGP Squad episode where I talk about it, where anybody that's interested can just go listen to the lore there. Maybe we'll incorporate it to a Halloween episode. Talk about more
Ew.
ghosts haunting parts of Disneyland, and how I want the Fiend to haunt Disneyland. Ooh. Speaking of
Fun.
haunting Disneyland, it's Disneyland's birthday.
It is.
It is.
There is no haunting of Disneyland on Disneyland's birthday. But I saw Mel wearing her 60th anniversary ears when we hopped
Yep.
on earlier. And I said, oh, I got those too. And then I ran away. I was like, ah! And then I found mine. But I was already wearing a hat. It's my Disney adult hat. So now I'm a Disney adult. Because now I'm like stacking stuff.
There
And
we
it
go.
works out because these are shiny.
Yeah.
And I like
And
it.
I'm just not playing by the rules.
But-
My Disney 60 ears are somewhere in a box somewhere, so I have my homemade Roger Rabbit ears.
But they look good.
Yes.
the
They're
important
so big.
They look good.
They're very heavy.
I like it. I like it a lot.
They who knows how long they'll last on the episode. We'll see. I have
Yeah.
some Disney Plus ears off to the side just in case
You
I
could
need
have
to
worn
switch them out.
those. You could have worn those because we could have done. There it is. Boom. Okay. Disney Plus.
Hey.
Let's talk about Disney Plus because the park POVs have all been officially released on Disney Plus.
There you go.
As a matter of fact, they have a whole Disneyland 70 celebration thing. They have the POVs, they have the behind the attraction episodes, a bunch of the series and specials, the Imagineering story and decorating Disney, the Disneyland around the seasons, illuminations, all that stuff that they've had. They just aggregated it into one spot. It was kind of already in one spot, but now they named it the Disneyland 70th Anniversary section.
Wow.
So conveniently find it with the park POVs.
We need to describe what Andrew is wearing because it's very silly. He's got his Roger Rabbit ears, and then he is figuring out how to put his Disney Plus ears, but they were standing, and now he's wrestling with them. Oh, there we go.
Oh, now he's hanging them from one of the
Perfect.
ears. Nailed it. I mean, that's how we're going to do the rest of the episode. Oh,
There we go.
Now it's a chin strap.
There we go. This
Boom.
works, right?
So Disneyland's 70th anniversary. I've been seeing posts from around the park. No joke, since 3 o'clock in the morning today, because I guess there was a handful of content creators and influencers that were invited by
Not
Disney
Podketeers.
to. No, I mean,
Nah,
we
did
were
it 10 years
busy.
ago.
Like, yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think they're angry at us for. Well, let's get to the animatronic later, and then you'll understand why we don't get invited. But anyway, so they invited a whole bunch of content creators and influencers to do some stuff, including going to Imagineering. And so there's all these videos of them, playing with the lightsaber, extending it, and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of happy people. Trust me, if I went to Imagineering, I would cry. I would be such a baby. I'd be crying all over the floor. And once I composed myself, I'd cry a little more, and then compose myself enough to go on the tour. And then once I'm done, I'd cry again for going on the tour. So anyway. So all these influencers, all these content creators are at Imagineering. They got a tour. They had a chance to go to Disneyland yesterday or the day before, to get a sneak preview of the new show, the Walt show with the new animatronic. And that's when we started getting like the first looks. And so again, I don't want to jump too far in, but we'll talk about the animatronic in a moment. But for Disneyland's birthday, all those same influencers like went back to the park. They were invited. But it struck me that I think back to the 60th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem so out of pocket when you kind of think about it, but it kind of does all at the same time, right? Because when we went to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the park, we had to stand in line for a long time, for hours, right? And it wrapped around the park, it wrapped all sorts of places. And we were just trying to get in by 7 a.m. Like, we were trying to hit rope drop, and we were trying to just be in the park when it opened, because that was also when they were doing the 24-hour day. They brought back the 24-hour event, and you could be in the park for 24 hours. So there was a lot of people in line. For this anniversary, it was weird that they had cast members and all these content creators in the park at 3 a.m. for like events and for photo ops. And I mean, some of the photo ops were cool. I have to admit that. Like, one of the photo ops was entering into Tomorrowland. They had this like hot air balloon that said Disneyland 70 on it. Where did you say they had that before, Andrew?
I think it's doing a tour. It was at the California State Fair.
Is that the one that they were launching that helped kick things off?
It might have been. I'm not sure. It was at the State Fair, which is it's in Sacramento. It's near where I am.
Yeah.
It was like there 2 days before the fair opened, which I thought was weird for like a couple hours. But that's where the California Adventure letters went to.
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, they were here. It was news.
Yeah. Just like always, they have the photo ops that have like the celebration, like they have what looks like a giant button, and like I was here for the birthday. They have the special maps that people were taking in stacks and stacks to sell on eBay for $80 now a piece. They had some 70th anniversary ears that you can only get the morning of, I believe. Like, they were just special for then. Which those I wouldn't mind trying to get some ears for, because then it'll come, like, I'll have the last three, because I have the 50th, this one, and then I would have this one. So those would be nice to own. And then of course they have a bunch of other 70th anniversary stuff, right? They have the cupcakes and the cookies and all the sweets and all the the merchandise and stuff like that. The cupcakes from the 60th were a debacle. Those
If you were lucky, you had one of them.
Or if you knew how to finagle, you had 8. Yeah, it was an interesting day, so I can only imagine how it was going this time around. Again, there's a lot of things like they opened up the markets by ringing the bell on Main Street.
The New York Stock
The
Exchange.
New York Stock Exchange? Yeah. That one caught me off guard a little bit. I wasn't expecting that to happen. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, yay, we made money and stuff. And it's like, fantastic. But this is about Disneyland's birthday, not just making money.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that's actually
everything is an
Celebration of
opportunity to make money.
It is, and it's actually going to come up in a moment when we talk about Elio and some of the pushback on it. But yeah, there's tons of 70th anniversary stuff. Carl Strauss, who, there was a Carl Strauss cart in California Adventure. They're, very prominent beer at DCA. They repackaged one of their beers, I think they made one based on one of the beers that they have now, which is the Mosaic IPA. And they added more hops and they made like a 70th anniversary Disneyland IPA. So you can get the can. It says like 70th anniversary. It's got like the main purple, pink, and yellow like strips from the 70th logo, which I thought was pretty cool. When I see stuff like that, I will admit, I look at stuff like that and I think to myself, man, I wish I still drank beer because I just like I could taste it. That's like, I know there's people out there that are like, ew, the taste of beer, ew. And
to each their own.
Right, but I will also comment on that I was one of those people too. Because all I knew was like the Bud Lights and the Coors Lights and stuff that I would see at family parties, at friends' parties and stuff. And it wasn't until I went to, so my wife and I went on a trip to Chico up in Northern California to visit some friends. And while we were there, he's like, hey, the Sierra Nevada brewery is like a few blocks from my house. I was like, oh, I've never had it. And so we went out to dinner that day, and he's all like, here, I want you to have some of this Sierra Nevada beer. And I hadn't really drank any of it at the time. I told him like, oh, I don't really like beer. I don't like the taste of it. He's like, no. Trust me. We're going to find something that you like, because this isn't like just the beer that you find at like 7-Eleven. This has flavor, right? There's undertones and tones of like all these different flavors. And that was kind of my entry point into, the world of craft beer. And he was right. Like there was so many different beers that we used to try to find, like when we first started the podcast, like for a good 5 years, like a big part of it was going around tasting like different beers and like talking about it and having segments about it and posting about it. So shout out to Bottle Logic, I guess. They were one of my favorite. I don't even know if they still exist at this point. I'm gonna look real quick. They do still exist. Awesome. That's nice. Awesome to see and to hear, because they are one of my favorite breweries down in Anaheim. So yeah, there's a lot of 70th anniversary stuff. We're seeing a lot of the merchandise pop into different locations. Disney Store obviously did that big Haunted Mansion release. Their Hallmark did a Haunted Mansion release with some. Oh, I gotta show this topper. So they did last year. They did the Haunted Mansion in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. This year they're doing the Haunted Mansion here at Disneyland. And when you look at the price, like, you kind of understand that, yeah, that's the Disney tax, right? Like, that's how much it costs to buy Disney stuff. But it's out of stock now, so I can't really get it anyway. But it was $165 for a tree topper with a Haunted Mansion on it. Mm-hmm. $200. Well, I guess not, because I guess it isn't Ship Magic, because this is Hallmark, not Disney Store. $200 after
You
tax.
may be able to find it in your local Hallmark store, but online it's gone.
Yeah. Or on eBay for $500, I guess.
I don't know. I'm gonna go on eBay right now. Let's see.
Is it? I also really liked a cookie jar that they had. That was $100. It's this one right here. Also out of stock, but this one was cool because every time you lift the roof from the mansion, it played one of 5 sounds, I believe, just from the mansion itself. So I thought that was really cool.
That is.
But
you know what?
What? I could 3D
Imagine
print
you're
this.
trying to take a cookie and it starts playing.
More importantly, if you don't know that it does that and it scares you,
It's like, welcome,
Or-
foolish mortals.
You're like, okay,
or
just kidding.
for anyone that's trying to cut back on their sweets and they don't want their family to know, it's gonna snitch on them because they're gonna lift it and it's gonna start singing.
Ah,
mansion
there
music.
you are.
You're taking a cookie. He's here taking a cookie.
It looks like you can find that. It's selling right now between $250 and $300 on eBay
Ew.
for the Haunted Mansion.
the 200,
250,
or 250. Ugh.
Mm-mm.
$249.99 free shipping.
I mean,
can't.
it better have free shipping.
As
for
low
the
as
charge.
$43.38 with Klarna.
Ugh, I can't.
Oh gosh, no.
I
no.
can't.
No.
Oop, I found one for $199.99.
I'm buying it. Does it have free shipping?
$30 shipping.
Oh, that's a lot.
That is a
What?
lot.
So this is part of the problem, right? I considered getting the tree topper because I love the mansion, but $200 for a tree topper is really steep. And I considered it because I don't buy a lot of ornaments. I have very little. I remember one year we did invest a little bit more because they had the Nintendo series. And so we got like the Mario and Luigi's. We got the 8-bit versions. We got like the Gold Legend of Zelda cartridge and stuff like that. Like some of the controllers. And so I remember that year we invested a little bit more. But, we weren't going to the park or anything like that either. This time around, I thought, okay, well, I'll splurge a little bit. I don't buy a lot of Disney merch. Like, I buy stuff here and there, and there's stuff I want to buy, but by the time I make up my mind, it's either sold out, or if it's clothing, they don't have it in size for me to buy. And I end up missing out on some of that clothing, so I end up not getting that stuff. So I just sit there and lament. This time, I had the opportunity to buy either the mansion topper or, believe it or not, that big Haunted Mansion Doom Buggy light up thing that's on
That
DisneyStore.com.
Big chungus of a thing.
Big chungus.
It's
The one
so
that
big.
It is
It
big.
is.
They had Bob Gurr on Instagram talking about like, what's under this blanket? And so he's like lifting the blanket. And when we talked about it, I think when we brought up the new mansion merchandise, I thought it was really small, not realizing that there was a desktop version and the larger version as well. And the little version sold out really quickly. That one was like $40 or $45 or something like that. That was like a 19-inch version or something. This is huge. And my problem is it's not compared to the tree topper, it's half the price. It's like $85, I believe, for this big Doom Buggy thing. My problem is, where am I going to put it? Like, I don't have space to put anything anywhere. And so I can get rid of something. I can, like, I don't know. I could just buy it and hold it until I have a place to put it. But then
Make it a seasonal thing.
I guess I could do that. I could just break it out for Halloween. But I'm like strongly considering the Doom Buggy one, especially since I can't get the tree topper anymore.
So the large one is 19.5 inches. That's the big one.
Oh, that's the almost
and
2-foot one.
And it has a handle on it, which I think is funny.
So you can carry it around like a lantern.
I guess.
That way it
Sold.
lights your way.
Sold.
I think the other one's probably like 7 inches.
Okay.
I can't find it because it's sold out, so
Like
they're
a
not
Funko?
listing it.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit bigger than a Funko.
Yeah, because the Funko's like 4.5, 5 inches. It's a little taller than that.
Yeah, because I have the little Mickey Doom buggy. It's too, like it. Nah, I don't want to.
Oh, wait.
Stuff is gonna
I
fall.
have it.
Can you grab it?
Okay. Hold.
Sorry, I didn't want to.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
you have
okay.
your party Mickey back there.
I do.
Yeah. So I have the Doom buggy that Larry got for us in the park. But yeah, that one. But mine is now mounted over there, and I don't want to get up to get them.
Oh, mine's in a box.
I am too lazy to put it back.
No, mine is in the box. I printed out these like little trays that the box sits in, and I started mounting because I ran out of shelf space, and so now I'm making holes in my wall as I'm like lifting Funkos into
Let's
the sky.
see. I found an eBay listing. It doesn't tell me how tall it is. Rude.
Is it for the big Doom buggy?
It's for
thing?
the small one. I'm trying to see how big the small one is. How small the small one is. But I can only find the big one. We'll figure it out.
All right. So yeah, you can't even access it.
No, it's just
anymore
gone.
on the website. Yeah, it's completely gone. Maybe it's in my history. But here's a photo actually of them together, just to give you an idea of the difference in scale between the two.
Right? It caught us
This is
way off guard.
It's so massive. And I didn't realize that it was so massive until I saw the
Okay.
video with Bob Gurr.
Okay, it is
Yeah.
7 inches. I did find it.
Okay, so 7 and almost 20 for the other one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What's so funny is this one, the 7-inch one, is selling for $60. Like somebody's asking $60 for it. That's like you spend $15 more or $25 more, and you will have the giant one.
Well,
It's technically taller than a Funko, so I
Yeah.
had to double
Yeah.
check.
but that's the thing, right? Like the really nice thing about the small one is that you can easily put it anywhere. Like you really have to clear out space for the other one because it's
Yeah.
20 inches tall, but what is
Like
it?
20 inches wide.
20
Like,
inches wide as well. Not to mention, like it's 20 cubed, right? Because it's also the depth of it is pretty.
I think that
massive as
it's
well.
not as deep. It's probably like a foot deep at least.
Yeah. I wonder.
I'm
actually
probably
on
gonna
the site.
end
So
up
it says
with one of
19 and a
these.
half by 19 by 15.
Oh, 15. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
wow.
it's still a good amount.
It's like
but
bigger than a microwave.
definitely. But if I could microwave or make chimichangas in this, that would make me happy. That would
Make
be
a shell and put it in.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
That's what 3D printers are meant for.
Yep.
Microwave shells.
To make Doom buggy shells for your microwave. So yeah, lots of 70th anniversary merch. It is officially the park's birthday today as we are recording this episode. They did the dedication. I believe Bob Iger was there for the dedication around 4:00 in front of the castle to
And
do the
Josh,
ceremony. Josh
Daddy
Tomorrow.
Josh, or whatever they call him.
Yeah. I don't call him that, but sure.
Josh D'Amaro.
Josh D'Amaro. Yeah, so they were both there. There was... Oh, before I forget, anybody that plays Disney Speedstorm, if you have... I know I talked about it a couple episodes ago that they had joined the celebration. I didn't realize that part of the connection is that if you have a D23 account, even if you have the free version of the D23 account, if you log into it, go to the website, search Speedstorm, there's going to be an image of Goofy in his cart. I'll actually put it up on the screen right now. There's a code to get the 70th anniversary outfit for Goofy in Speedstorm.
Aw.
So if you like just getting free stuff in the game because it's very few and far between, you get 10
Right.
Goofy shards and you get Goofy's 70th anniversary outfit. Just log into your D23 account, scroll down, and you'll see the code for you to redeem it on there. So yes, part of the celebration, every time there's these milestone anniversaries, at least that's what it seems like. They do a lot more special things around the park, and this year they added a new Main Street window, which is something that doesn't happen all of the time. This one is honoring Walt's wife, Lillian.
Yay!
I thought this was a really, really nice way to honor her, especially given how big of a part she played in the creation of Disneyland, in the idea of Disneyland, in the idea of Mickey, you know. So
Right.
where is this window?
The window is it's near Town Square. I'm trying to find the exact
Is it
building.
above the showcase shop?
I will tell you when I find out.
I just know
it's
connected to
it's I mean, the thing has a bunch of flowers on it by this one picture. Something about it. Okay. It's
Oh, it's right next to Disney
it's
Showcase.
next to the showcase.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
To the right. It's the one that has the weird like stone bench built into
Oh, where
it.
the photo op is.
It's like the
Wait.
that's like the little side street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
It's like the
That's
like
cool.
the door, but yeah, okay.
Very, very cool. Yeah, the window was also dedicated. The other thing that made it special is that I believe it was Walt and Lillian's wedding anniversary as well on the day that they dedicated it. So I thought that was really sweet as well.
Did you see they had recreated their wedding or the anniversary cake or whatever at the
didn't
Golden
see
Horseshoe?
That. No.
Oh, I'll see if I
Oh,
can
that is so
find it.
sweet.
I had it somewhere. But yeah, they did like, because they had the, a couple days, their anniversary is a couple days before Disneyland's opening. They had their anniversary, their 30th anniversary in the Golden Horseshoe,
Right.
before the park opened. And now I don't remember. It must have been the Disney Parks blog.
I'll
find. I'll see if I can find.
I found this image here. Let me share this. This is kind of cool.
Yep, that's it.
Aww.
So they recreated the cake and had a little, table set up. It's nice.
That
That
is
is
sweet.
super cool. Wow. And then for let me see if I can find the photo of the location in case anyone is wondering where that is as you see it. Ba, ba, ba.
I like to add that where they select, like which windows they select for certain people, has like huge. For me, it's like I don't want to say real estate, but like okay, so for Lillian's, I love that you automatically see it and it's like right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not hidden.
Yeah.
So I
It's
thought
like
that was really cool.
and it's so close as you're entering the park. Here's
Yeah.
the thing too, that it almost like when you I mean this is gonna sound a little sappy, but given the fact that now that there's this Walt animatronic right across the window, like
Yes.
across the street, it's kind of like
Yeah.
Walt and Lillian are like there with each other. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I don't know if that was part of the significance of where they put the window. But maybe it's just me being overly sappy, but that's
I
where
mean,
it is. So
you can't put her window towards the end or in the center. No, she deserves to be like
front and
And it's
center.
a big window
Right in
too.
front.
Like
It
it's
is
a
a
big
big
window.
Yeah, that's a very prominent window. She deserves it. I mean, she had a lot to do with the creation of the park as well. So, okay, so we are gonna jump into a couple of other topics. Before we do, I want to take a quick moment to thank a very special group of listeners and viewers known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to go to podketeers.com/FGP. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, some information about what the FGP Squad is all about, link, of course, to our Patreon, but being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks, like access to additional content that we've uploaded to Patreon, random gifts that I tend to send out to people. As a matter of fact, I may have some of those little 6-inch plaques that are just sitting on a shelf. Maybe I'll send those out randomly in case anybody wants one. So let me know. FGP Squad, send me a message. Let me know if you want one to give to somebody or like sit at your office desk or something. I don't know. I got a handful of these. Discount codes for new Podketeers gear, our thanks and love, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, podketeers.com/FGP is where you want to go for more information. Of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. And since we're talking about links, I want to remind you that podketeers.com/links is where you want to go and bookmark so that you have easy access to some of our most commonly asked for links, including our latest episode, the Quizneyland playlist, link, of course, to our Discord community, a link to our FGP Squad page, links for any Teamboat Willie fundraisers that we're running. That's our official charity team. You'll also find links to our YouTube channel and our pal Larry's YouTube channel, Goofy Guys Adventures. If you like park streams, make sure that you subscribe to Larry's channel because he tends to go live 2 or 3 times a week sometimes. And of course, we have a link to our Armchair Imagineering playlist. So again, if you want easy access to all of those links and more, just make sure to add a bookmark, set a little icon on your phone, and that way, whenever you want to get to it, just go boop, and then you're there. And then you don't have to like type anything by because you just went boop, and then it took you there. And now let's get back to the show. We did it. All right. I wanna bring up Elio for a moment. We talked about it. I don't remember how long ago we talked about it now, but it was before the film released. We were really excited because the trailer looked really fun. It was something that it looked different, and it looked like it was something that Disney hadn't done before. And then let's recap that conversation. Andrew, why don't you kind of aggregate what that conversation was about and where we landed at the end?
Sure. I mean, I think it was, I was kind of the big pusher on that of just talking about how if we as audience members would like to see original films created by the Walt Disney Company, then we need to show that with our dollars. We have to go out and support the films that the style of films, even if necessarily it's not the exact film you want, but if you want an original stories to be able to keep happening, and you see what's happening with the Walt Disney Company and how far they're going into the sequel, threequel franchise verse, you have to speak with your money on if you want it or not. And
Right.
and so if the studio sees that people aren't coming to original stuff, they're gonna take a break from it. I mean, there's no way that they can make only sequels forever. They will have to come back to original stuff, but it may be 10 years. It could be a while. The movies take a long time to make, especially animated films, and so there could be a 10-year gap before new films come if they're not seeing their return on their investment for the films.
Yeah. Now, when we first talked about this, Mel, you were the first one to watch the trailer, and I know you were super excited.
Yeah.
Talk about that and kind of where you are right now, given some of the feedback people are leaving about Elio.
So with Elio, I was super excited because it's sci-fi, and Disney doesn't really do sci-fi at all. If they do, it's very, very, very seldom. Look at Tron. Ares, it took forever. And Andrew, you're right, 10 years. Like, it's taken that long and whatnot. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the film. Honestly, I don't want to say I forgot, but there's just so much right now happening, let's say outside of the gates of Disneyland. Well, that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, that's the real world. And the human world is a mess. Sebastian was right. I'm sorry.
You want to stay under the sea.
Right. And the comment. Wait, did we mention the comment yet? I'm already like.
We haven't mentioned the comment yet. I'm gonna bring up the video in a moment, but I wanted to make sure because you were the one that was so excited about this more than both of us, especially since you saw the trailer first.
Right. Gosh, I had my train of thought. Okay. Oh no. So with the comment that came out, it kind of made me sad because yeah, I should have gone, and they're right. They're right on that. They're trying to just make their money. Understandable. But if they're gonna come out and make a comment saying that we're not seeing these original films, Elemental, I wish I had known what it was when it was going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
Because I honestly didn't know.
So let me before you continue, let me quickly show the video because we're going to keep referencing it, and I want to make sure that people understand what we're talking about. So to preface what we're about to show, trends on Instagram and TikTok tend to take a life of their own sometimes. And recently, one of the trends that's been going around is playing like mysterious music in the background. Somebody turns away, you can't see their mouth moving. Sometimes they'll cover it. Sometimes, they'll put something in front of their face and they'll say something super controversial. And then they'll turn around and they'll look at the camera and say, "Oh my God, who said that?" Right? Like, because they want to get away with saying something controversial. And this was on the official Pixar account, right? So I'm going to quickly play this and then I want to talk about it a little bit more. But this is the video.
Complaining that Disney doesn't make original stories if you don't show up to the movie theaters and support them in the first place. Who said that? Oh my gosh. I thought I was the only one in my car. But anyways, there's a new original story. Look at that. From Disney Pixar called Elio. You should go ahead and support it. It comes out this Friday. So yeah, you should go to movie theaters. Thank you.
So this, at the heart of this video is there's truth to it, right? It's exactly what Andrew was talking about a moment ago, that if we're always going to ask Disney, stop making sequels, make original content, that's what we want, you have to put your money where your mouth is, for lack of a better term. You have to show up and you have to go watch these films. Elio, now to touch back on what Mel was saying, Elio's release date is approximately a month or so ago at this point, from the point that we're recording this episode. And again, for lack of a better term, like I think Mel put it nicely, the outside of the castle gates, things are a mess, right? And so people aren't worried about going to watch Elio. They have much more important things to worry about, So it's this trend, I think, for what it's worth and what it's being used for, is funny at times. In this case, it almost seems a little tone deaf because, like, Disney should kind of know what's going on in the world for them to, like, maybe they should have delayed the release. Like, like people are not going to go out to the movies as much as they would have when everything else is going on around them, right? So I feel like it's kind of an unfair criticism. However, I say that not knowing what the film is about or how the film pans out, obviously, because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's about Elio.
It is about Elio and the aliens and the abduction and stuff.
Gordon.
I will say that I've
Gordon's
seen a couple
dad?
of comments that
Elio's
say
mom.
that the story kind of falls apart towards the end.
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what they mean by that exactly.
So I was curious and I looked up Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
What do you want to guess on we got the critics and the audience score. If you had to guess, where do you think it lands?
40.
Critics, I'm going to say 72.
Oh.
Audience score 64.
Critics 82, certified fresh.
Really?
Audience 90. 90%.
That's awesome.
Certified hot. Or whatever this
That
is.
is awesome.
Okay.
Verified hot. It's 4.4 out of 5 stars by verified audience, and all audience it's at 86%. That's
That is great.
over 2,500 ratings with
So
all
then if it
audience. So that
has-
means it's going great.
So then if it has that type of reception, it means the movie's doing fairly well, all things considered. Like, it's got a good...
The movie is a well-made film that people are enjoying, that the people that are seeing it are
Yeah.
enjoying it.
That's a much better way to put it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's why I think, especially now knowing that it's in the 80s, I know that this video by Pixar was trying to jump on the trend and really
And it was also
capitalize
a
on
month
it.
ago. Or 2 months ago almost.
This
in
was
May.
only 2 weeks ago when they posted this. So this was a
Oh, I
couple
thought it
weeks
said it
into the
co-
release.
Oh, I thought it said it comes out soon. I
No,
wasn't paying
this was like
attention.
2 weeks after the
Oh,
release of
okay.
Elio. Again, in the middle of everything that was going on, in the world. So again, I don't know. I love Pixar and I love the content that they produce. I love the films. I love how heartwarming the stories are, but I almost feel like they should have delayed the release of Elio.
Well, they did.
I mean, given the situation,
Well,
I think it
and
should have been.
I don't think at that point they can because of
Probably 'cause of
contracts
the
with
deadlines?
contracts with
yeah,
theaters,
you're
all
right,
this
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like they pushed it back a month, like at the beginning of the year or something because of How to Train Your Dragon. Maybe it was even over a year. I think it was towards the beginning of the year. It was supposed to come out the same weekend as How to Train Your Dragon, and they, I think, must have heard something that was going to be a friggin' bonanza, and so they pushed it back a month, and it didn't help them. I think How to Train Your Dragon's still like wiping up the floor with anything in the box office, but they've made 120 million worldwide, which isn't great for an animated film. Especially international is only 53 million worldwide, and it's been out just as long everywhere. It came out about a week later in China, but it's not doing great. Let's see what did Moana 2 make, just as a comparison. In its whole, Moana 2 made over $1 billion. I did not realize that.
But Moana's well known.
Right. No,
Again,
I'm just
also a
curious
sequel.
as to it's a sequel.
Oh.
What was the last? Here's a question for you. I saw this video, or maybe it was a post. I don't know, something of people talking about this, like they call the Pixar human character. Like, there's been a lot of Pixar like human characters, like human focused films. Like in the past we've had toys and monsters and bugs and cars and whatever, robots, and the last 6-ish movies have mostly been focused on people, and all the people look pretty much the same. And I kind of understand where people are coming from of like, it feels like Pixar would kind of switch up its styles. If you look at Toy Story and then The Incredibles and then Monsters Inc. and all these things, like those animation styles are completely different, where all the most recent Pixar films, all the people have the same like features. Like after Soul, because Soul has a different style, but Turning Red, Luca, Elio, what's the other one? I'm missing one, I think, but They all this Hopper, the new one the trailer just came out. It's like their faces are all the same. It's like they're using just the same engine, and they go, okay, we're doing these people now. Do you think that could be something that people are like tired of, or they're just like, it's another one of those things, as opposed to being like excited about it? Like the rest of Elio looks fantastic, and like there's a bunch of character design, and then you see the people, and it's the same. They look just like Luca, and they look like whatever.
You bring up a good point, because you know how recently I was telling you guys about K-pop Demon Hunters?
Mm-hmm.
That film, that film is just different, and I think that's why it got popular. But it's by Sony, and Sony does really great. So maybe that they're tired of like that animation. And there was actually talk about how people, see, I don't know, I've never heard anyone talk about this, but if people out there were bothered by it, let us know. They call it a bean mouth, like it's an open mouth, and a lot of people were talking about how that could be off-putting, because it's not a specific style, sorry. It's a style that's been kind of replicated with some of the movies. So it's like
generic almost at this point.
They associate it with the Cal Arts artists a lot because of how they tend to draw and animate.
And it's but it's like, and like, I don't think it should have any bearing on a movie. If a movie's good, then whatever.
Right.
But from a marketing standpoint, if people see a commercial and they have like, if for some reason, I didn't like Luca, and then you see it's like, that just looks like Luca with aliens, so I don't want to see that, or whatever. I don't know if that's what people are thinking. I'm trying to game this out here.
So I think there's some truth to the styles being similar from Soul and on, because Onward was right before Soul, and Onward had the different visual style of the characters, right? Because
I think Soul did too. I mean, Soul was kind of that turning point.
Yeah, I think because even like Elemental was super different.
Oh yeah.
But the facial features were very similar in the Elemental characters. So they still had like the little pointed nose. They still had very similar mouth structures. So it could be, it could be the fact that we're seeing that they just have to pipe through these films as quickly as possible. I know they're still taking 5 to 7 years to render out because of the type of story, but maybe some of it just has to do with the direction that they're taking the studio in making sure that they can get through these in order to get to the ones they want to get to, like the Toy Story 4s and 5s and Incredible 3s and what Disney and or Pixar may consider their money makers, right? These are I've heard so many Pixar artists and directors say like this was like a pet project for them because it reminded them of their childhood. And like we see that with when you watch the behind the scenes for a lot of these films, they talk about their connection to the project and how it's so personal to them. But instead of going through the whole process of recreating, re-rendering, you already have some models that you can kind of tweak a little bit, right? So it is Pixar's style. You know, I think every animation house has their style. When you look at what Leica's characters all look like, they all look similar, right? They're a very similar style. I mean, when you look at DreamWorks characters, they all kind of have a very similar facial structure and they all have a similar style. Because I think ultimately what you're working towards is, I know that the Pixar theory isn't like canon, but who doesn't want something that all can kind of potentially live in the same universe, just in different places of the world or in different areas? You know what I mean? So that could be the direction that they're going. I see what you're saying. A multiverse almost, exactly. I don't know. It's an interesting theory. I don't personally, I don't see them and think like, oh, I didn't like this movie, I'm not going to go watch this other one, because there's enough of a difference in the plot that I think I'm okay with and I want to go see. But I can understand why people would see that and make the association as to why they wouldn't want to go see the next one.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not saying that's like a me thing. It's something I saw online that I thought was interesting.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an interesting theory.
I mean, because like thinking about it, like if you think about like pre-Soul, and all the films, you know, that was kind of, I brought up the list of Pixar films, and if you go pre the movie Soul, the only movies that are that have human people in it as the main characters. So we got The Incredibles, right? Both
Right.
Incredibles. You have Coco,
Yes.
and Inside Out. You have Riley for like a little tiny bit, and Brave. And then you go back, and then there's just like they get less and less people. Like Wall-E has people, and they look completely different. Ratatouille has people, but all these people that I'm talking about, like, have like a style and a, you know, like a different, and it could just be like the computers were just it's like, okay, next film, the computers got better so we could do this thing. The next film, the software got better so we could do this thing.
It's always been Pixar's thing.
Yeah.
And then now, like, the computers have caught up so much, or they're all making these films at all the same time, so they're on the same kind of level, you know, or it's like as good as it's gonna. We've plateaued when it comes to computers, and like design software. I don't know. It's something I want to see Elio. So, and it looks good. I think it looks fun. You know, all the alien stuff looks great. I you know, I want these movies to do well.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. You know how, like, they reuse models like the Pizza Planet truck?
Sure.
It's kind of like an Easter egg. I feel, I don't know if it's like a Disney animated thing or if it's also in Pixar, but I'm trying to recall if there's any specific example I can give, but I feel like there's models that were used in the background for certain films that become prominent characters in new films that they build the models for, and they just kind of like the look, and then they like move it to something else, you know? So, which is, I think honestly, it's a smart thing to do because you're modeling less, and if it fits your character, it fits your character. But like now, I want to dig more into this theory because the last handful of films really have. Toy Story 5 is obviously going to look like Toy Story 5. That will look like a departure of the current trend. Incredibles 3, that's already an established look itself. But Hoppers, Elio, even Lightyear, I think. No. Lightyear was closer to,
I'm going to look it up,
like, Brave, I think.
Yeah,
Like
or Onward, a little bit.
Yeah. Like it had a little more definition in the facial structure, I want to say.
Like their head shapes and stuff weren't all the same.
Right.
Like these other films we're talking about.
Right.
Like they have more somewhat realistic, quote unquote, proportions.
Right. And again, it could just be that Pixar has decided this is going to be our style going forward. And so that's just the type of character that they push out, you know, in all these films. But I could see how that could be a problem. I could see the association and why people would or wouldn't like it. So, interesting. All right, I want to dive more into this. Like, that's an interesting theory. But I guess we'll ask everybody listening and watching, like, what do you think? Do you think Andrew's theory or this theory that he heard in this video or saw online is true? Do you think that the association of these characters looking very similar is turning you off to watching new Pixar films, or do they stand on their own based on their plot, and do you not care or do you just not care because it's a Pixar film and you're going to watch it anyway? Because I think a lot of us fall into that category where, we're just fans of Pixar, and regardless of the property, we're going to watch the film anyway.
Back in my day, we saw every Pixar film.
That's right. Sometimes multiple times in the theater.
Well, they were all different.
True. All right. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room per se. Let's talk about the latest addition to the Disneyland Resort. We talked about it briefly early in the podcast. We talked about it when we talked about Lillian's Window. Let's talk about the new, what I'm calling Waltimatronic. So, initial thoughts on the Waltimatronic. Mel, let's start with you.
Okay. Best way I could describe, as an artist, I can't imagine how those who worked on the animatronic feel right now. One, in my head, I'm actually like, why I feel worried or concerned. I don't do human faces, because I cannot get it. It just takes so much precision. I think I feel for them. I really do. Because what they've done, they've created Walt. They did the best that they could. But unfortunately, he is off. He looks off. And to give a mental note, mental picture of how I felt, was more like, if you seen The Emperor's New Groove, there's a part where Cusco is a llama, and he has his monologue about the sad little crying llama, and he's drawing on the picture with his X and his O. I kind of feel like that, and I feel like everybody is feeling like that, which is okay. Not everyone's gonna love it, not everyone's gonna hate it. You're gonna get a bunch of opinions. So for me, it was more like, when we first saw the picture, I was excited. It's a brand new thing. You always get excited over the,
Ooh,
pretty new shiny toy. But when you look at the toy and you're looking at it, you're like, wait a minute. There's these little things. We won't say wrong, because it isn't wrong. It's more like they're just measured off. And for me, the first thing I noticed, I know you, Heyzen, you noticed one thing, I noticed another. It was more of like the head shape. Walt's head shape just is, unless it's just the pictures that were shown, his forehead is just too flat. It just needs a little bit of a roundness, I would think. And who am I? I am nothing compared to these Imagineers. But for me, it's like, to see Walt, who, whoops, I almost clicked on something. Walt is like a figure that everyone knows. Like, you know who he is. You know how he looks like. Ooh, Andrew got.
We lost Andrew for a moment.
He needed a moment.
this is what happens when we're going live. So we're gonna wait for Andrew to come back so we can continue this. So we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back.
Yay.
Always fun times when you're doing this live.
It's real
Yay.
great. We were talking about Walt.
Does whatever technology does. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And right now, it did not. Oh no, technology will technology. That was a horrible song.
Great job.
So, Mel, I'm sorry, you were cut off when we had to go into recon mode for a moment there. But do you want to wrap up your thoughts before we jump to Andrew, and then we keep talking about this?
Yeah. Okay, so real quickly, like, he's such a familiar figure in our lives for decades that it's kind of hard. There's a lot of nitpicking. It's hard. I think this was gonna be the hardest animatronic Imagineers have created. So
Yeah.
I feel for them. I sympathize with them. I can't imagine what they're thinking.
Yeah. Andrew?
Oh, buddy boy, I've got some stuff to say. There's something off. There's no denying it. I don't know what it's like in the room. Like, I'm sure it's different in the room. You know, when you're far away or whatever, you're not zoomed in on this camera lens, et cetera, et cetera. It may look different with your own eyes. Who knows? But it should look accurate up close. And my thing is, they have Blaine Gibson's sculpts of Walt Disney. You know, the one that's used for the partner statue, the busts that are outside of the, at the studio. Like, those exist. They can cast them. They can, and that is what people are expecting to see. That's the Walt most people think of, is basically that partner statue. Like, that's kind of the one that people, that it's epitomized Walt Disney, like, is
Right.
the partner statue. And so I know they were going for a specific look and a specific time period, et cetera, et cetera. And the only thing I don't think these people in Imagineering said, this is good enough. This is like, I don't think they went out and had ill intentions or whatever. Like, I know they didn't. I'm wondering, my thought is this due to budget junk? Or is this due to technical limitations? If you look at this animatronic, Waltimatronic, the head is just like it looks like a big block. And is that because that's how much space they needed to fit all this stuff in? To, I know they said they added a bunch of different things, the twinkle in his eye and all these different like things to make these different expressions that Walt had that other animatronics don't have. Like,
Squishy eyes.
Yeah, but there's like stuff in the lips and in the cheeks, and there's like all these different motions and nuances that this animatronic has that others don't. Is that why the head is so big? Like, in blocky, they had to fit this in? Or is it like, this is an off-the-shelf head, and we're plastering Walt Disney, quote-unquote Walt Disney, onto this, and we're just making it fit the best we can? With what they do with, like, the president heads or any of, like, or, like, plain animatronics. I feel like they just have, like, here's,
Has there ever been controversy about a president's head?
But
anyway,
here's the thing: if you go back and look at all the presidents that we know, like in our lifetime, they don't look really like the president, like the actual.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is not even close. Like, it's like, it's crazy, and my guess, I don't know, I don't have any insider knowledge, but it has to be, they're like, this is the head we have. You gotta fit, just make it work with whatever skin you're putting on it. You gotta, try and fix it on the outside. The skeleton stays the same. But not everybody has the same head. Some people have Charlie Brown heads. Some people have, some people have little pinheads. Like, some people got different heads. And so I'm just curious if this is a, like, put a Walt skin on a standard head, or if it was a from the ground up build. For this project, it being a controversial project to begin with, because of the things that Walt's wishes of saying Walt also said he didn't want statues of him, and look how that worked out with the company. Didn't want statues, didn't want to be an animatronic, et cetera, et cetera. So already being controversial enough in the family, and with Walt and everything, his wishes, that this should have been whatever budget they needed it to be to make this perfect. They knew that people would criticize this if it was off, and it is off. And I don't blame the people that made this, because I believe that they did the best that they could with the resources they had. And there's a lot of cool stuff in this animatronic. If you cover up the head, everything else looks if you cover up the face, everything else looks great. His ears are spot on. That's a weird thing to say, but his ears are great. The hands are really good. He stands up off the desk and takes a step forward. Like, all of this stuff looks really good, and it's not 100% lifelike, because it's not going to be, but for an animatronic, I think it looks fantastic. And you're always going to be critical if you're looking with a critical eye. You're like, okay, I'm looking at this to see what's going on, what am I looking for, da 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 da. So my, I guess, fix for this would be either they should have given them a bigger budget, if that is the case, or if it's because the head is they needed more room in the head, make the animatronic bigger, just the whole thing. Walt needs to be 8 feet tall. Okay, it's big Walt. Make him look like Walt Disney, but he's 8 feet tall. Will that solve our problems? If that's the case, then do that, please. Because he needs to look not...
People in the back would appreciate it.
He needs to not look like, Mario from the Super Mario Brother movie or whatever. There's memes are made there of all the folks that people think he looks like. And, I've made some cursed images, too. I took the Walt animatronic face and put it on Walt Disney body, on Walt Disney's head. And it obviously doesn't look like it. It's and they've had, if we say take the Jack Sparrow animatronic, that is pretty close. Granted, Johnny Depp is a cartoon character face already. And Jack Sparrow is a cartoon character of a character already, with a ton of makeup and a ton of stuff to hide it. But I think there are ways to do it. I mean, there has to be, with enough money. There's ways to do it. And of all the things they, if in fact had budget cuts or budget restraints, this was not the thing to do it on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much that I want to say, and I don't even know where to start on this. So the day that Disney posted a bunch of videos, to introduce the animatronic to the world on Instagram and stuff like that, and I even reposted on the Podketeers account. Like, I don't go on Instagram, and I went and reposted it because I was like, oh my god, we're getting a Walt Disney animatronic. And so there's this. When I first learned that we were going to get a Walt Disney animatronic, I was really concerned that something like this was going to happen. I was excited, but I was really concerned. And with the launch, there's this almost blindness that comes over you because there's a Walt Disney animatronic. And that's kind of how I felt. Like, I saw that video and I started to feel my eyes welling up, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a Walt Disney animatronic. Like, this oh my God, like, oh, this is happening. But then I had time to watch the videos that people were posting, and I had time to digest it a little bit more. And the more you look at it and the more you watch it, you're right. Something seems off about it, right? And it's definitely a proportional thing when it comes to his face, because Walt's face was so much longer. Like, it wasn't as blocky. The ears do look okay, but in the chin area, this I've been trying to figure out. I've been trying to learn a little bit more and figure out what were they really going for here, because if the whole idea of having this animatronic was what would Walt Disney look like today telling us the story, this may not be very far off, to be honest, because when you think about how people age and how their facial structure changes as they get older, as, you know, sometimes they shrink, sometimes their face just looks a little bit different. I remember, like, there's certain shots of this from certain angles where all I could think was like, man, it looks like his face is getting sucked in from his nose, like into like the head, like the skull, and it just looks off from like certain angles. But when you look at Walt, I want to bring this up for a second to help kind of illustrate what I'm talking about.
I also have a thing I can share. If yours might cover it, but I have a thing I can share my screen too.
Okay.
We'll see what yours is.
So I saw this image, right? So when you look at this image of the animatronic and you look at it with Walt next to it, you can clearly see that the photo of Walt is a lot more elongated. You know, the animatronic does look a little bit shorter. Like, the forehead isn't as, like, the forehead is basically like angled backwards. It's not as flat and tall as Walt's forehead is in his picture, right? When you look at his chin, like, obviously this is a much younger photo of Walt as well, so he doesn't have like a lot of overhang or like underhang in the chin area, and the animatronic seems to have that, right? And I don't know if, like you were saying, Andrew, if a lot of this has to do with what they were trying to hide, the mechanics of the animatronic as well. So that may have something to do with it. But structure-wise, it doesn't look like that version of Walt. However, if you look at a picture of Walt in his older state, like the last picture that they took of Walt at Disneyland, this kind of looks like the animatronic now. And so I'm wondering if the goal wasn't to depict Walt as we remember him from all the Disney specials and the here is like the Disneyland when he was building the park and like all of those things that I think we associate mentally with Walt. I'm wondering if what they were aiming for was this older version of Walt that's almost like reminiscing, you know, like telling you the story of like back in the day, like this is what we were doing, this is how it was happening. Because then the facial structure makes a little bit more sense, because then there's like the old Walt coming through. I mean, it still looks a little smashed, to be honest.
Here's the issue with that, Heyzen, is they have said that this Walt is designed to be Walt in 1962 when he's dealing with Epcot and all, you know, and Disneyland expansion.
This photo I think is 66.
Yeah. So, and he really did like have like downhill like aged up a lot in those couple of years.
Oh, in the last few years, he aged a lot. So if they've said that this is 62, then I mean everything I said is kind of out the window.
So I'm gonna share my screen and I'll show you my little.
Or send me the link.
I'm gonna have to. It's a thing I have to do in my browser.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or I
gotcha.
would.
Okay.
Share my screen.
Can
yes, Melissa.
Real quickly, so when I was trying to say that his forehead wasn't round, it's pretty much like that photo. It's not filled out. I was like, please don't think I wanted him bald or anything. That's. Yeah.
So I've brought up Canva just to have something easy to do. Here's Walt. This is from 1962. This is from a Christmas thing. We can see this, right? And I just laid it over top of the Walt, and you can see if you like look at the chin and like where the mouth overlaps, like how scrunched his face is. This is
Right. He looks like Walter
the
Matthau.
hairline. This is like the hair, the top of the head and the hairline are lined up. The ears are lined up. Like if you cover the face, it all looks pretty, spot on. But the eyebrows are too high, the eyes are too high, the nose is too high, the head's not long enough. Like his whole face is too high.
The proportions
They're
are
just way off. And so
Yeah.
here's this one too. That's the one Heyzen was talking about. It's, they're...
So, I mean, it is closer.
I mean, but you can see the two
is.
mouths. There's this mouth.
But
there's that mouth. But this one's also at a weird angle because...
It's also at an angle.
You can...
But see, that's what I'm talking about. When you flip through these, this one tends to look a little bit more like 1966 Walt. Instead of 62 Walt.
But it's still, there's something off. I think it's still the forehead.
You have to like push it out.
Yeah, like his face has to be basically
His
out
head
a little
just
bit
needs
more.
to
Like,
be
it's
longer.
Yes.
Yeah, and longer. Yeah, it is too. The animatronic head is much more round than elongated, and it's very clear in Walt's forehead.
Well, and that's where
Right.
I'm talking about. Like, if this is this we have this skull shape and we have to plaster it on there. That's what makes me think of it. Is like we didn't build a custom head.
And if that's the case, I don't know what to say about that, because if you look at the animatronic nose, the animatronic nose is a lot stubbier.
It's not as bulbous.
Than Walt's nose.
Yeah.
Like Walt has this like much more elongated and pointy
It's like
which is why his caricatures always have that
it's got like
nose,
almost like
right?
a crook in
Because
it. Like he's
like you can tell that it's too smashed in the animatronic. So that's why my initial reaction when I saw it from a specific angle was it looks like from the middle, it looks like it's kind of sucking into the skull of the animatronic. So everything that I'm saying right now is armchair imagineering at this point, right? Because we're doing it from the couch, essentially, after we didn't have to figure out how to do this. We didn't have to figure out how to appease so many people, including the company, including the family. I don't even know how the family feels about this at this point.
I have a question about that.
Yeah, I don't know how they feel about it, but it does bring up the question, like you said, Andrew, was this a budget thing, or was it like, because they had a long time to put this together,
right?
So I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of the project because the animatronic itself is so impressive. When you look at the way that the face moves around and how, like you said, how he gets up from the desk and just how the mannerisms are actually very Walt. So I think they nailed a lot of aspects of Walt in the animatronic.
There's like a part where he he leans on the desk and like looks up and stuff, right? I think it's right towards the end. It looks great. Like all these poses are fantastic.
All of that stuff, the mechanics that went into this are absolutely amazing. So technologically, I can see why this is the most advanced animatronic that they've ever built for any theme park.
Right.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say that I don't want everything that we're saying right now to come off as like we're just being jerks to Imagineering because we're not the ones doing it or anything. It's like I know that there's going to be tons of people out there that are going to go see this or that got invited to see this, and they're going to be like, this is the best thing we've ever seen. And I don't know what it looks like in person, but I could tell you that from photos and from video, it doesn't look like Walt all that much, especially now that you've said that they said it was supposed to be 1962 Walt. right? There are some differences. There are some, things that just make it look a little bit weird. And so I think this is part of why Disney was so, why they didn't want to do this to begin with, and why Walt didn't want to do it to begin with,
So here's my question. With the reception and the criticism, do we think that they'll do something to make it different, or to listen to the criticism about it? I mean, how would I say this? The animatronic, I believe, if the first ones we see, the first new ones, Ursula, you name it,
Shaman of
everybody,
Songs.
we were just like
Yeah.
so like it was done right. So, do we think that's gonna happen? I mean,
I don't think it
know.
will, but I think they should. I think they need to put more money into this and fix the head.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be one of these things where it runs for a year and they take it out and Lincoln's back in there all by himself.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
I,
That's
I
possible.
agree with that. I think the difference between like the shaman and all these other animatronics that you just listed right now is that they're not depictions of a real person.
True.
So they can get away with a lot more that you can't get away with this Walt animatronic. Like Lincoln obviously is like Lincoln has gone through so many iterations over the years and so many technological advances since the first Lincoln animatronic that it the first Lincoln animatronic looks doesn't look as good as the current Lincoln does, right? And eventually they can do that with Walt as well. Like you said, Andrew, they need to put some more money into this to kind of make it look more like Walt and less like, Grandpa Walt, and that's why when I kept like watching these videos, that's why I kept wondering if that's what they were going for, like a modern day version. And who knows, maybe that's what they're gonna spin, right? Will they do it? I don't know. It's hard to say because there's a lot of things that the Disney company just wants to stick to their guns on and say, nope, we did this. This is perfect. This is how it's gonna be. And I know that doesn't always make the Imagineers happy because I know the Imagineers want it to be as wonderful as an experience as possible. And again, I think part of the reason I think part of the reason that a lot of the content creators that were invited to the park were in this situation is for them to help hype up the Walt animatronic, because maybe the Disney company knew that it wasn't exactly what they wanted. Who knows? Maybe they're 100% happy with it. This is all pure speculation on my part here. But I know that the standards of Imagineering and like just talking to some of the Imagineers at D23 and the Imagineering Pavilion, like over the course of multiple years, they are so passionate about what they do. I have to imagine that there are Imagineers that feel like we could have done better. Like as an artist, I think we all go through that. I think we're always like, we could do better. We could reiterate. We could do this. We could do that. And maybe it got to the point where so many of them were working on another project and they're like, oh no, now we have to work on this Walt, animatronic. And yes, they had multiple years to do it, but given everything that's happened over the last 5 to 6 years with people not being in the office, not being able to work, being so separated, going across, to other countries to work on other projects, that just had more money invested in them. The potential moving of Imagineering to Florida and then the moving of Imagineering back to California and like all this stuff that's been happening. I wonder how much that played into why we got this version of Walt. You know what I mean?
There's so many variables.
I finally found the quote. It's of 1963, according to Tom Fitzgerald. Aims to represent Disney in 1963. I've been digging for where I read this. So anyway, sorry, apologies.
I mean, it's still. I mean, you speculated it was 62
Yeah,
originally,
exactly.
so it's not that far off, But still, yeah. I wonder if this is going to. Did they ever say if this was going to be a permanent attraction?
Yeah,
or...
I believe it is. It says like I found one that said for years to come, because they're supposed to alternate it with Lincoln, and they're not going to put a ton of, they're going to have to put like a turntable and all this stuff into that theater to make those two sets, alternate from each other. And so they're not going to put that money in there if they're not planning on keeping Walt in there for a long time.
Good point.
Oh man. And again, I want to reiterate that I think I speak for the three of us when I say that we respect the hell out of Imagineers and Imagineering.
Absolutely.
And none of what we are saying right now is in any way to downplay how difficult it is to make an animatronic to begin with, but how difficult it is to depict a real person and to depict a person that has such an aura to him and such a noticeable and recognizable face as Walt Disney. And somebody that, so many people just are expecting to see a certain version of him. And so again, I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are just going to say that there's nothing wrong with this, that it looks absolutely 100% amazing. And if it looks great to them, fantastic. I'm glad that they are happy with what they are seeing, because ultimately the purpose of this animatronic is to bring a little bit of magic and to bring a little bit of Walt's magic into your life in a way that that didn't work at the Walt Disney Company or weren't around to meet Walt Disney when he was around are getting an opportunity to, right? This is the closest we will be to Walt Disney. But at the same time, it's not Walt Disney, right?
But you know what?
We
have him here at Disneyland.
Right,
That's
until
good...
Florida steals them, like the Hatbox Ghost and all that stuff.
No.
But whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
He's home.
You can actually see, I'm looking at some photos now, you can see the turntable is already installed.
Oh, it
yeah,
is?
I'm assuming that it's... So Lincoln's going to be a lot smaller. It's not going to have that big... It's not going to be the same Lincoln, show that we've seen, because it won't have the big columns and the big wide thing. It's going to be this small stage, I'm guessing. We'll see. But yeah, in some of the photos, you can see the turntable line in the floor.
All right. Well, I think that's about all we can say without sounding like we're 100% bashing the animatronic, which it isn't our intent. Again, I want to be clear. That's not our intent. But, we leave the question to you. Like, if you've had an opportunity to see photos or videos of the new Walt animatronic, how do you feel about it? Do you think it looks like Walt? Were you expecting something different? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you think we're wrong, let us know we're wrong and why you think we're wrong. We'd also love to hear that perspective. But, yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. Again, we say this with a lot of love and respect for Imagineers and Imagineering and, of course, Walt, because we're here celebrating the 70th. I know these are the 60th years, but we're here celebrating on Disneyland's birthday, recording this episode. And although some people may hear everything that we're saying and be like, "Oh, you hate, you're Disney adults, you hate Disney."
Fans.
No, we don't. We love the parks, and we know the standards that we've seen throughout the years that Imagineering does, and it just makes us question, why did we get this versus what we were potentially expecting? Was it a technology limitation? Was it a monetary limitation? What was it? So it's all from a place of respect and love for the parks and for everything that Imagineering does for us. So, leave a comment. Join us over on YouTube. Join us on Discord, on any social network. If you want to send us a message, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the animatronic. Also, Andrew, remind everybody of the upcoming episodes and what you are looking for.
Right, yes. Quizneyland's 100th episode is coming up fairly quickly. Episode 97 will be releasing just after this episode airs. And so I'm looking for questions from you, listeners, anybody that listens or doesn't even listen. If you don't listen to Quizneyland, you can still send in a question. It's fine. You should listen, but if you don't listen, that's okay.
It's a great show. You should listen.
Especially the commercials.
But I'm looking for questions, whatever your favorite Disney trivia question is, or something you think you might want to, stump me with or whatever. Anything like that, send it to comments at podketeers.com, or if you know Heyzen and Melissa personally, send it to them. Just don't send it to me. And we'll have them on the show, and those will be the questions for the show. I'll have Heyzen and Melissa ask them, and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see if we can stump you, because
I'm sure you will.
I'm
sure you will.
Well, your trivia index is a lot snappier and faster working than mine is, especially when I'm put on the spot. I tend to just freeze and forget sometimes, which is why I suck as a teammate when it comes to those trivia games. But it's okay. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, but also you can listen to the latest episode of Quizneyland. Episode 97 is coming out right after this. Subjects are Phantasmic, monorails, Big Hero 6, and Walt Disney himself. Yeah.
Nice.
Not a Waltimatronic, just Walt. Just Walt. All right, that's it. That's where we are going to end this episode. Happy birthday, Disneyland. You don't look a day over 70. I wish I could have gone to celebrate. Mel?
I gotta say this. If I don't say this, it's not gonna be Disneyland true. To all those who come to this happy place,
Waffles.
To all who come to this happy place, waffles.
Yes.
Disneyland is your land. I always have to make sure that I don't cross into Obama territory.
I was gonna say that was that was 100%
close.
Obama, which is okay.
All right, that's it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.